Judiciary and Armed Services Committees. Congressman, on election night, you were trying to take a look at what was going on in the elections office there in Broward County, and you were being chased off by the police, for crying out loud. I think we're starting to get some sense of maybe why they didn't want your peering eyes around.
Well, Lou, the good news is that for Ron DeSantis and Rick Scott, their victories are outside the margin of fraud. The bad news is that in Florida, our election system was stress tested, and in Palm Beach and Broward County, there was a failing grade. State statutes were violated. The Constitution of Florida was violated. And now we see that in Palm Beach County, there will not be legal compliance with the reporting of the final ballots. Even provisional ballots that should not have been included, that were illegal, were mixed in with legal ballots. And so I'm very concerned that Democrats may see how they'll be able in the future to steal elections through lawsuits that they can't win with the voters.
It's interesting the way you put that, because I am concerned that the Republican Party won't see what they should do to make sure that none of that nonsense being carried out by the Dems ever occurs again. Which of us is most appropriately concerned?
Well, I think that those concerns lie in parallel. You're absolutely right that Republicans need to take very seriously the integrity of the ballot and the elections process. I was the first elected official to call for Rick Scott to suspend Brenda Snipes and Susan Booker in Palm Beach and Broward and to put those offices in a state of receivership. He's chosen not to do so. I think that is a mistake. Just because he's a candidate for Senate doesn't mean he doesn't have to fulfill his obligations as governor of Florida. So my hope is that we'll be able to resolve that in the future. But certainly, these are two people who cannot be trusted to follow the law. They broke statutes. They broke the Constitution. And, Lou, they even violated court orders. When I showed up with a court order giving the Rick Scott team the ability to inspect what the world they were doing, they didn't let us behind the gates. They allowed Democrats back and forth, but they excluded Republicans with court orders from being able to conduct legal oversight to make sure that there were no shenanigans.
I think that Governor Scott might want to listen to you on this. I think he might want to listen hard, as a matter of fact. I also want to point out, you were the first one to point out that one of your counties in the north there also was able to go despite a hurricane, was able to do everything on time, appropriately, while Broward and Palm Beach were a mess.
Well, you're right.
I've seen a number of people tweet exactly what you said in the very first moments.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. If in Northwest Florida we're able to get the tabulations right and in on time, there's no excuse for them not be able to do things in South Florida the same way. And here's my concern, Lou. My constituents, they voted correctly. They followed the law. And I'll be damned if some violations of the law in South Florida will dilute the legal votes of my constituents. That's why I care so much, because all of Florida should not be painted with the same brush. And we are so frustrated when you see incompetent or corrupt people in other parts of the state erode the integrity of a process that my constituents have a right to be able to rely on.
Well, the Republicans are learning almost daily why they should be very concerned headed toward 2020, as Congressman Matt Gaetz suggested from the very beginning of this mad process. Congressman, great to have you with us. Good luck.